Hello, I'm Insane Mike.
And I'm Jason Bollinger.
And we are here at
Insane's Asylum.
Horror Emporium. What is Insane's Asylum, you ask?
Coolest place in the world.
Yeah.
I still didn't tell them what it is, but it's a horror movie memorabilia shop that Insane Mike and I run here in Asylum.
If you want to come and check out the store for all your horror needs, come down to
116 North Green, Asylum, Iowa.
So what are these YouTube videos all about? What are we going to do in our series of YouTube videos?
I don't know. You just called me and was like, hey, we should review movies. And I'm like, we love movies. We talk about them all the time. We should probably talk about them in front of a camera.
That's right. So this is our opportunity to force upon you, the viewing public, what we think are good movies and what we think are bad movies. So maybe we should go straight into the first review, I think.
Yes, please.
So since this is the first episode, I think it should be appropriate that we do review the single greatest movie of all time.
According to my...
Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, the George Romero classic, 1978. Yes, 1978 classic, Dawn of the Dead. What do you mean, according to Mike? No.
You mean according to the world?
According to the universe, the greatest movie ever made.
Why is it the greatest movie ever made? Go.
Well, one, it's directed by George A. Romero.
Yeah, and what's the A stand for?
Awesome!
I knew it.
And it's just a great movie. It defined the zombie genre. I mean, as far as like the movie that started the zombie genre being George A. Romero's 1968 classic Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead defined it, adding the gore, adding the constant eating of the living and the whole dread and dismay of the crumble of society. Before I guess I really say what my opinion of this film, Jason, what do you...
Too late.
I was defining the film.
Oh, you were just setting it up.
I was setting it up.
Uh-huh.
Jason, what do you think of Dawn of the Dead?
Well, I like it because I like going to malls.
True dat. I'm getting more street.
Oh, I think it's working. Yo. And I just like how you have to say George A. Romero before each time you say one of his movies. That's my favorite part.
Because George is the greatest director of all time.
I heard that.
One of the things I really love about Dawn of the Dead is, everything about this movie changed my life. The gore was creative and inventive, and like techniques done in the genre that have never been done before. Sure, nowadays some of it may look a little bit cheesy. You know, the blood is not
a little milky.
A little milky, a little bit like melted crayons, but it's okay. It was the 70s; they didn't know any better. I have always enjoyed the early works of George's editing and his fast cutting and telling the whole story with little dialogue and a lot of visual, and keeping that camera all moving and all over the place. There's a great social commentary in here about where society was at that point, moving into commercialism, and the movie has some great scares in it, some really suspenseful moments, and a lot of great comedy. I think it has a great mix of humor as well as the horror. Absolutely. This particular version of Dawn of the Dead...
I was going to ask, why are you holding this one?
This is
There's 40 versions. Why?
The ultimate edition. Yeah, and put out by Anchor Bay.
The greatest.
We love Anchor Bay. Although I can admit that they get a little bit carried away with releasing the same movie over and over again in alternate versions. How many copies of Army of Darkness do I have to buy, really? So I whipped this one out, and this movie, to show you the version that you should get, if it's even still available. I don't know, because
well, it's out there. You can get it on Amazon if anything. So.
Oh, sure. But this one is awesome. Yeah, it's a 4-disc set. 4 discs! That's totally awesome.
It's a lot of discs.
It's a lot of discs. What I really like about it is being a huge fan of this film and growing up loving this movie. I've always heard about that there was an Italian cut out there, because the film is also co-produced by the great Italian horror director Dario Argento. And I always heard there was a European Dario Argento cut out there that I've never seen. In my mass VHS days of trying to collect as many versions of this movie, because there's so many cuts of this movie out there, trying to find the definitive European cut. And this disc has it. Disc 3 has the European cut, and disc 1 has the US theatrical version, and disc 2 is the extended version. So there's 3 cuts of this movie on this disc, and I highly recommend watching the European version as well as the US version, because there's just like scenes cut differently, and even some of the mood and pacing is changed through definitely in the first third of the movie, in my opinion, with what they did over there in Italy. So, and then disc 4 contains a really sweet documentary called "The Dead Will Walk." It's got like all new interviews with like everybody, and then it also contains the classic documentary, which was previously released on its own disc, Document of the Dead, which I love. I mean, to me, that is a great documentary that it really shows and explains the early works of George Romero, how his style was and what his editing was. To me, it should be that documentary should be viewing for film students, because it really breaks down the structure of those films. So it's really good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that European cut's on there, because I remember in high school you'd be collecting all these versions, and you actually edited your own cut from all these different versions you found in your life. Well, we should probably wrap this up.
Yes, so definitely Dawn of the Dead. Greatest movie of all time. I can see the comments now. I don't care. Greatest movie of all time.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you at the next movie review. Check out our page, send it to friends, tell everyone.
And your mom.
Don't forget Mom, she
right.
probably loves this movie.
And don't forget to come on down to Insane Sound for Emporium.
Peace out. You were trying to be street.